Sadiq Khan continues to hide from public scrutiny, Crossrail is delayed once again, and London continues to decline under Sadiq Khan's leadership. Right, it's been almost 4 years since we've had Sadiq Khan as the Mayor of London, and his track record is getting worse and worse. Almost every single big promise he made during his 2016 mayoral campaign has failed, either by him making a U-turn or just failing to deliver. This is the man who said he wants to have London to be strike-free. Now, we've had more strikes, whether by transport or other areas, than ever before. This is the man who said he's going to fix London policing issues. Now, London has become one of the most unsafe big cities in the world. This is the man who said he's going to freeze train fares. Failed. He wanted to build more houses in London. Failed. He wanted to deliver Crossrail. Crossrail was supposed to be delivered by 2018. Now it's been delayed again until at least summer 2021. And this man spent more time and more money on PR and media officers in City Hall to help with his image and his branding. He spent the whole time attacking Brexit and Donald Trump. I don't know what's it got to do with him, but you know, he has his opinions. And London has been neglected, London high streets and everything. Now, what he does is he's actually reduced the number of public meetings he has with the residents of London as mayor to be scrutinised. He has been hiding from actual mainstream media. When was the last time any of you actually saw Sadiq Khan being fully scrutinised on TV? It's been a while. He's been hiding for a long time. He has this LBC thing once a month with his best friend James O'Brien, another Remainer. And what they do is it's like a half an hour show where they filter through a number of phone calls, and basically he receives a number of calls on LBC that are friendly and easy questions. Again, same thing happened a couple of days ago. He was on LBC with James O'Brien over a half an hour, and he took 4 phone calls, and the calls were the easiest questions ever. Something about the climate change and the green initiatives in London, something about London roads, and his opinion on Labour leadership. Now, what we're going to do is, because obviously the media isn't scrutinising him properly because he's hiding, we are going to go through this interview, this Q&A that he did on LBC, and see what actually was said and what we can extract from his non-answer answers.
So when I ask you which leadership candidate you're going to endorse for your own political party?
Fellow listeners, he's interrupted me already. The numbers to get in touch, if this man will let me get a word in edgeways, are 0345.
Really? Okay.
Today that Boris Johnson, even if he was minded to condemn or criticise Donald Trump, he can't, because he's hitched himself to the wagon of this potentially mythical trade deal that many people are talking about. Would you agree with Jeremy Corbyn on that?
Yeah, look, I'm concerned. By the way, Boris Johnson isn't the first British Prime Minister to be in awe of an American Prime Minister. We've got evidence in the past, Prime Ministers of both parties who, in their efforts to suck up to, almost appear to be sycophants to the American leadership and will do whatever.
Again, seriously, the fact that this guy is now talking about how the Prime Minister has to act when it comes to his relationship with the presidents of the United States. Firstly, who are you to decide? Secondly, Boris Johnson as Prime Minister has already clarified many times, for example, what happened between America and Turkey only a month ago. Boris Johnson came out and said, I disagree with Trump's decision. And Trump and Boris had a chat and it was sorted. Again, when it comes to what happened recently, there are some differences, but most of the time, obviously, the American foreign policy and British foreign policy go hand in hand. Why would he criticize something that he agrees with? So he says for some reason you just have to randomly criticize Donald Trump. What if we agree with what he's doing when it comes to diplomacy and everything else? And it's not your job, Sadiq. Just run London.
I think it's right to raise these questions. And
why do you say, God forbid, he becomes mayor? I mean, I appreciate personal ambition plays a part in that perspective, but what is it about him you don't like the look of?
Listen. I know there are 2 Conservatives, not one trying to be the next mayor of London. I know from the 8 years before I was mayor, the legacy of a Tory mayor. I know.
That's not fair, really, and because Rory Stewart left the Conservative Party on points of principle.
Hold on a sec. I'm really happy to have a conversation about one of my opponents. I'm glad you're raising it. Let's be clear, this is somebody who was a Conservative MP and Minister for a number of years. he was unsuccessful in being the leader of the Conservative Party. Did he come second?
No.
So he's already worried about his election this year, because the fact that he's now going after Rory Stewart. Now, he's claiming that Rory Stewart, just because he happened to be a Tory member, that he is basically the same type of Conservative as Sean Bailey. And this is why when it comes to politics and politicians, I despise and hate tribalism and all these brandings as if it's all like football teams, team red, team blue. And there's absolutely nothing in certain sense of the word conservative when it comes to Rory Stewart. Rory Stewart is more of a liberal, and in a London sense, actually, not even in a good way. And he, in terms of policy-wise, he and Sadiq Khan probably agree on things more than he and Sean Bailey, the actual Conservative candidates. But the fact that Sadiq Khan is so desperate to now go after Rory Stewart, saying, well, if I lose, it's because this is exactly what he's doing. In case he loses to either Sean Bailey or Rory Stewart, obviously Sean Bailey doesn't have a big chance, is that he's going to say, well, it's because I was up against two Tories. Well, no, if you lose, which is again unlikely for some reason, because London is tribal in terms of the voters, it will be because you're a terrible mayor.
Speaking of leadership battles, who would you like to see leading the Labour Party at the next general election?
The two big questions that the next leader's got to answer is, one, what is your analysis of why we lost on December the 12th, the worst election results for Labour since 1935, catastrophic for our party and our country? And two, what is your route back to winning the next election, whenever that may be? I want a winner as the next leader of the Labour Party. I want somebody who's going to be the next Prime Minister.
Who can win?
Well, I think that's one of the challenges that all the candidates have over the next few weeks.
Are there any candidates that you can categorically state you won't be greeting with support?
No.
Barry Gardner's thrown his hat into the ring, I gather.
I'm not going to rule any of the candidates out. It's for each of them to persuade all the members, including myself, all the supporters, but also, actually, more importantly, James, to persuade those...
Here's the thing, and I enjoy our time together, you know that I do, and the listeners mostly enjoy it as well, although anybody wondering about the sort of toxicity that Meghan Markle receives on social media could get a bit of a crash course by looking at some of the stuff directed at you every time you come into LBC. But everybody listening to this programme knows you've got a preference. They know you have. You're human. I've got a preference. You've got a preference. Bob cleaning the windows has got a preference. Why won't you tell them what your preference is? Because you're worried that if they don't win, it will damage you in terms of ambition and in terms of progress? That's the only answer I can think of.
No.
See, this is why I hate politicians like Sadiq Khan. He always reminds me of Barack Obama and that sort of type of politicians, but just answer the questions. Firstly, we all know that you already have your choice. You are a senior politician and a member of the Labour Party who knows all these candidates. You probably have your preference sorted anyway. I understand that you can't publicly declare yet fully, but don't lie. Don't say the reason you can't say is because, I'm going to actually hear from all the candidates. We know eventually you're going to be coming out for the sort of candidate that's been obvious in your head. But it's all because he doesn't want to damage his career. He doesn't want to say that he's backing the wrong candidate in case they lose. Because the last time something like this happened, he didn't actually even back him, but he nominated Jeremy Corbyn to be the next leader. And Jeremy Corbyn actually became leader of the party, and he was going around saying, I need to hide from everybody for a while because everyone's going to blame me. So he doesn't want that to happen. But again, this is why I don't like politics. But I don't like politicians because of this, the hypocrisy and the lying and deceiving. But let's continue.
The key thing is this.
He also nominated Jeremy Corbyn in the original ballot.
The key thing is this.
I love how he completely ignored that bit. He's just like, the key point is, now, at the end, he was asked, how would you rate Jeremy Corbyn's leadership out of 10? And again, this is his answer.
What mark out of 10 would you give Jeremy Corbyn for his leadership?
I think that's a really flippant way to deal with stuff. I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
It's 10.
Now, that's my biggest problem with politicians like Sadiq Khan, the ones that are too afraid to offend anyone on any side, and they want to keep all sides happy. You stand in the middle, you're going to hit by both sides. And there's no wonder. This was an easy show with his best friend James O'Brien, with pre-approved questions, with 4 easy phone calls, which we didn't actually include in this episode because it's boring. And yet he still failed to answer the easy questions properly. There's no wonder that Sadiq Khan's popularity is now at the lowest level, even though we only have, now less than a year before the next mayoral election. But with the mayoral election obviously only months away, and the leadership election with the Labour Party and Brexit getting interesting with the trade talks. We have a lot to cover on this channel. We're not going anywhere. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you click on the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get notified when we release a new video. Videos come out every day at 5:45 p.m. We're planning to have a live Q&A this Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time. I'll give you guys a notice if you want to send your questions, and we'll answer that. We'll try not to do a Sadiq Khan version of Q&A. We'll do a proper Q&A. Ask me tough questions, and feel free to give me compliments. But otherwise, if you want to follow me on social media, you can find my Twitter and Instagram details here. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video.